Al-Qadisiyyah was a decisive battle that occurred around 636 AD between the Arab Muslim forces and the Sassanid Persian Empire, ultimately leading to the fall of the Sassanid frontier and paving the way for the Islamic conquests in Persia. This encounter is not just a military clash, but a pivotal moment in history that marked the decline of one of the most powerful empires of the time and the rise of Islamic influence in the region. The Sassanid Empire, known for its sophisticated administration, art, and architecture, was a dominant power in Persia and had long been engaged in a protracted conflict with the Byzantine Empire. However, internal strife and a weakened military structure left it vulnerable to external threats, which the nascent Islamic State capitalized on. The significance of Al-Qadisiyyah in the tapestry of history is profound. It symbolized the shift of power from the established empires of the Old World to the emerging Islamic Caliphates. The victory at Al-Qadisiyyah allowed the Arabs to gain a foothold in Mesopotamia and eventually led to the conquest of the Sassanid capital, Ctesiphon. These events contributed to the rapid expansion of Islam and the cultural and demographic shifts in the region. In terms of specific examples, the battle can be seen as a critical juncture that set the stage for the rapid spread of Islam across the Middle East and beyond. It exemplifies how military campaigns can trigger significant cultural and political changes. Another example is the impact on regional trade routes. The Muslim control of Persia opened up new trade connections, facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. Opinions vary regarding the battle's causes and outcomes. Some historians argue that the Sassanid Empire's internal decay was the primary factor in its defeat, while others highlight the strategic prowess and growing unity among the Arab tribes under Islam as crucial elements. The debate over the relative impact of these factors continues, reflecting broader discussions about the dynamics of civilizational change. Challenges to the narrative include alternate viewpoints that attribute the Sassanid collapse to prolonged warfare with Byzantium rather than the singular impact of Al-Qadisiyyah, suggesting this battle was merely the culmination of a declining trajectory. The battle's influence permeates other aspects of this historical topic, including the transformation of Persian society, the integration of Arab and Persian cultures, and the eventual emergence of a rich Islamic Golden Age, deeply intertwined with the legacy of the Sassanids. The phrase, "prelude to the battle." Strategic movements and preparations refers to the critical planning and tactical maneuvers undertaken by the armies involved in the Battle of Al-Qadisiyyah in 636 CE, which marked a pivotal moment in the Islamic conquest of Persia. This stage involved both the strategic military arrangements and the logistical groundwork laid by the Islamic Rashidun Caliphate and the Sassanid Empire in anticipation of the impending conflict. Such preparations were crucial as they set the stage for the battle's outcome, influencing troop morale, resource availability, and the tactical advantage each side held when the battle commenced. The significance of this point lies in its foundational role in the broader narrative of the battle and the eventual fall of the Sassanid Empire. Without effective strategic movements and preparation, the forces of the Rashidun Caliphate, led by Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, would not have been able to overcome the numerically superior and heavily fortified Sassanid forces. The Islamic army's ability to adapt its strategies and logistics, even in a foreign land, showcased its growing prowess and ultimately played a pivotal role in its victory. One real-world example illustrating this is the Rashidun army's utilization of camel transport to ensure rapid movement across the rough terrain, which contrasted sharply with the Sassanid reliance on more conventional logistical methods that were less adaptable. Another example is the use of intelligence and espionage by the Rashidun forces to gain vital information about Sassanid troop movements and vulnerabilities, helping them to deploy their forces effectively in the battlefield around the plain of Al-Qadisiyyah. Several opinions from historical scholars suggest that the Rashidun's decisive strategy emphasized flexibility and resourcefulness, which compensated for their smaller numbers. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding this view. Some historians debate whether the Sassanid defeat was primarily due to their strategic missteps, internal political strife, or the Rashidun's superior battlefield tactics. The strategic movements and preparations directly influenced the broader impact of the Battle of Al-Qadisiyyah. They not only determined the tactical engagement during the battle itself, but also hastened the decline of Sassanid power along its western frontier, paving the way for the Islamic expansions into Persian territories. This point, thus, ties into the larger discussion of how tactical foresight and preparatory measures can turn the tides in significant historical conflicts, shaping the course of empires. The Battle of Al-Qadisiyyah, fought in 636 AD, was a pivotal confrontation between the Sassanid Persian Empire and the emerging Islamic Caliphate. This battle is often highlighted as a turning point that led to the significant expansion of Islamic influence into Persia. The key events and turning points during this battle catalyzed the fall of the Sassanid frontier and paved the way for further Islamic conquests. Central to understanding this battle is the clash of military tactics and the psychological impact on both sides. For instance, the death of Sassanid leader Rostam Farrokhzad during the battle under mysterious circumstances led to a breakdown in Sassanid command structure, which was pivotal in tilting the balance in favor of the Muslim forces. Another decisive moment was the effective use of the desert environment by the Muslim army, which outmaneuvered the Sassanid forces unaccustomed to such conditions. These events underscore the importance of military leadership and environmental adaptation in historical warfare. The battle's significance extended beyond the military sphere. It also marked the beginning of cultural and religious transformations in the region. For instance, after the battle, the Islamic cultural and religious influence began permeating the Persian Empire, which shifted the religious landscape profoundly over the following decades. Opinions supporting the importance of these events often highlight the strategic brilliance of the Muslim commanders and the inspired morale of their troops. They are applauded for leveraging both the terrain and socio-political dynamics to their advantage. However, some perspectives suggest the Sassanid decline was also due to internal strife and overextended resources, which would have challenged their stability regardless of the Islamic conquests. Amidst these discussions, there are potential challenges and controversies. Debates persist about whether the Sassanids could have sustained their empire, given their declining internal cohesion and recurring geopolitical pressures. There is also contention over the portrayal of the battle in historical narratives, where bias might amplify the prowess of one side over the other. In connecting these points to the broader topic, the outcome of Al-Qadisiyyah didn't just mark a military victory, but triggered a cascade of events that reshaped the Middle East. This battle influenced the collapse of the once formidable Sassanid Empire and set the stage for the Islamic Golden Age to flourish, proving to be a watershed moment in Islamic and world history. The Battle of Al-Qadisiyyah in 636 CE marked a pivotal moment in the fall of the Sassanid Empire's frontier, largely due to the tactical and strategic innovations employed by the Muslim Arab forces against the Persian army. Tactics and strategies in military conflicts encompass the planning and execution of movements and operations to defeat adversaries effectively. In the context of Al-Qadisiyyah, the Muslim forces demonstrated superior strategic flexibility and innovation, crucially contributing to their victory over the numerically superior Sassanid forces. The significance of this point lies in its role in not only determining the outcome of the battle, but also in its broader impact on the eventual rise of the Islamic Caliphate over the ancient Sassanid Empire. The tactical brilliance demonstrated at Al-Qadisiyyah revealed how innovative military strategies could overcome larger entrenched forces, ultimately shaping the future geopolitical landscape of the region. Two specific examples of these military innovations include the use of mobile cavalry and psychological warfare. The Muslim forces, led by Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, skillfully employed highly mobile cavalry units to outmaneuver the cumbersome Sassanid elephants and infantry. This tactical advantage allowed them to penetrate deep into enemy lines, causing disarray. Secondly, the strategic use of psychological warfare, through the dissemination of information about the invincibility and religious fervor of their forces, demoralized the Sassanid troops, undermining their will to fight. While widely acknowledged for their effectiveness, these strategies are not without controversy. Some historians argue that the success of Muslim forces was not solely due to tactical superiority, but also to internal divisions and logistical weaknesses within the Sassanid ranks. Furthermore, others point to the element of surprise and the underestimation of Arab forces by their Sassanid counterparts as critical factors in the battle's outcome. These military innovations at Al-Qadisiyyah are integrally connected to broader themes of adaptability and resilience in military history. They underscore how smaller, seemingly less powerful forces can win decisive victories through ingenuity and strategic acumen. This battle and its tactical elements influenced subsequent Islamic military doctrine, serving as a template for future expansions under the Caliphate. In sum, examining the tactics and strategies of the Battle of Al-Qadisiyyah provides valuable insights into how innovative military planning can decisively alter the course of history, while also inviting debate on the multifaceted factors that contribute to such pivotal historical moments.